Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the weekend edition of Over It Coffee and Conversation. I'm here with Julie Roginsky and Tara Setmayer, who are both joining from the out of doors. They have the ability to touch grass around them, which is lovely, considering how awful everything else seems to be around us. Ooh, Julie, where are you?
I am sitting, and I'm not even joking, you guys. I'm so sorry. I'm sitting in the middle of Wall Street in Manhattan because my son has a squash tournament right over there.
Oh
And it's
gosh.
so noisy and loud inside that I thought I'd go outside. But of course, I'm sitting in the middle, literally in the middle of New York City with cars zooming by me and the East River straight ahead of me. And
Okay. Are you over by like Hanover Square, kind of over
I'm
that way?
actually I'm sitting in Hanover Square.
I used to live at 10 Hanover. How funny is
Oh,
that?
well, then you know how loud it could be. So I'm very
I
sorry.
do. I do.
Yeah.
Tara, how are you doing this morning?
Well, is my connection okay? Because I feel like
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm hungover. Okay. I was out until 3 o'clock this morning.
Oh my God.
It is Congressional Black Caucus annual conference. So a
Nice.
lot of my friends are in town from across the country. And it's like a big annual event. And so Marcus Flowers is in town from Georgia.
Nice.
I'm friends with a couple members of Congress, like Nakima Williams. And so I have a lot of friends in from Georgia that threw a big party last night. There were a lot of parties going on, but we went to hers and another one at Howard Theater where Juvenile performed. Which
Wow.
took me back to my club days in my 20s, along with a lot of other people up in that building who were, backing it up.
You're like, I'm 50.
I know. I was thinking about that whole thing about how I'm 50. Marcel was with me. And so me, Marcel, and Marcus, we're all 50 this year. So we're all Half Century Club members now. And so we bust chops about it. So Marcel and Marcus, of course, are like, they're men. They love it. Oh, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
Yeah, it's a different situation for women.
Right. I'm like, I'm still dealing with it. But, I'm leaning into it. But I've been out up until 4 o'clock in the morning partying twice already this month.
I don't know
which is more than I've done in I don't know
doing
how long. So I guess 50 is we're all right.
I don't know how you do it. I went to a dinner party last night. I got home at 10. It was like, oof, I'm staying up too late.
It was funny though. It was funny how many people I ran into. A lot of my old Hill staffer friends. Like some of us haven't seen each other in a long time, and it's crazy to think that so many of us have been friends for 20 years. Because I started working on the Hill in 2006, so it's it was just crazy to see the arc of our lives,
Yeah.
So I ran into a lot of people I haven't seen in a while, and it was just a lot of fun. But my husband is not a late night guy, okay, and he needs 5-hour energies.
He was probably snoozing.
Well, there was no snoozing because of how loud it was. However, he's like, babe, I'm gonna need a 5-hour energy. He had to work yesterday also, so I give him credit because once he's in it. But he's also as you guys know, in a certain mode when we are in crowds like that.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
There was an issue. We had a little bit of a late night confrontation last night with a drunk woman. And we were picking my car up we were picking our car from the parking lot, and it was valet. So she pulled up in a Rolls Royce SUV and
thought, I didn't know they had Rolls Royce.
I didn't either. They're ugly, by the way. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I just feel like Rolls Royce.
They're ugly. And I just find Rolls Royces pretentious. I appreciate nice cars. My husband loves Aston Martins. Those are his favorite car in the whole world. I love Maseratis. And it's just and Ferraris. And my husband loves them. And I'm like, I don't really like the Rolls. I just find them.
They just look snooty and fluty, and
really no reason to have a Rolls Royce unless you're Saudi sheikh.
Right.
Or
you're trying to show off.
If you're the princess of Genovia.
Yeah.
The Rolls Royce makes me think of remember the old Grey Poupon commercials?
Yes.
Excuse me.
How much for
do you have any Grey Poupon?
Yes. Exactly. So I'm I was already okay. And it was 2 something in the morning at this point, almost 3. and she was just obnoxious. And she thought my husband
would change seats. Sorry, because I'm literally facing east, and I can't see anything because the sun's in my face. So
I know exactly where you are.
Can anybody see me? No. This is like the worst.
Like right there. You're good there.
All right.
So she thought she mistook my husband for the valet.
Oh no. No.
Oh.
No.
Like, can you park my car? Is this like where I bring it? And it was me, Marcus Flowers. For those, Marcus Flowers is like 6'3", big country dude. Okay.
Yeah.
My husband is 6'1", 6'2", 220.
Listen, okay? I've hung out the four of us before, and I always feel safer.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah.
Right. So, and then me,
a small person,
and another friend. And Julie, we should talk some Jersey politics. I got some some stuff to talk about.
Oh, really? Tell me more.
Yeah, not now.
Okay.
It was an offline
We'll talk in the car. We'll talk in the car.
Yeah. So and so she was just, and we were like, my husband's like, yeah, give me the keys. And I looked at her and I was like, what would make you think that he's the valet? Well, I'm just gonna say
I have one answer.
Oh no, she was black.
Oh, well then I have no answer.
She was black. She was black. She was not. Oh my God! If she,
that's kind of where I thought this was.
Yeah. No. This is the CBC week. No, she was black.
Well, I wasn't sure if she was part of the CBC. Okay.
Yeah. Because because we met Marcus at where he's staying, and so we parked the car there.
Okay.
But anyway, and that's where I ran into Doug Emhoff. I sent you guys.
Oh, right.
Because Kamala is giving, I believe, she's there too. Mm-hmm. And she's giving the keynote tonight at the CBC dinner.
My friend's been doing her hair everywhere.
Oh, yeah, and her book tour.
Good. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
She and Hillary this last week. He's been getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Very busy.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's historic right there.
Yeah. He did my hair for the Webbies. He's like,
yes. He did a good job.
Yes. She's great.
He's lovely.
Anyway, it escalated. I'll just say that. It escalated. It escalated. And it was like the first time in a long time, like, little Jersey came out of me last night. And I was sober. Like, I wasn't even, it wasn't like it was like liquid courage. Like, it was just a disrespectful person. And I didn't appreciate that. And of course, I'm not going to let her get away with saying crazy things. That's not going to happen.
Wait, she was saying crazy things after she figured out that he wasn't the valet?
Yes.
What?
Yes. Like, yes. Very,
because I asked her.
So I'm not going to repeat the things that she was saying and what was happening and what I had to say. All I'm going to say that Jersey girls never back down.
Yeah, and not that there's any. First of all, there's no excuse to say inappropriate things, even if you were the valet. But I don't understand. Like I'm just gonna say that I might be 50, but please don't come for me.
Yeah,
husband.
I'm 50, but I still like to kick.
I mean, it was like, and my husband, of course,
Sarah's doing the whole stretch.
Right.
Like, oh my God. Yeah, it was pretty. It was kind of funny in a way, but like also, thank God. I mean, again, my husband he is calm, cool, and collected, as is Marcus.
So Marcus is like,
no way that situation was gonna go get physical. Yeah. I mean, she would have been insane. But she did get out of the truck eventually, and because when the valet finally did come, like she was like, "Oh, I'm not getting out of the truck." Because Marcel was like, "If you cross this threshold, you do understand that changes the dynamic here." Like he was like super. It was like kicked into a certain mode, a protector mode, I will just say. And and it was kind of funny. We were laughing about it after, like Marcus and I, and Marcus was like, she didn't know what she didn't know.
You know what? I was at a wedding many years ago with my friend Fernando, who's Colombian. And we were at this wedding in a very snooty Westchester country club. And we were waiting in line, and he's Latino. And literally, some old white guy from the wedding, because everybody's wearing tuxes, so I guess everybody looked like a valet. Went up to nobody else but to Fernando, because he was the only person there who was not white, and said, "Hey, can you get my car?" Fernando goes, "What makes you think that I'm the valet?" Like,
exactly.
We're all dressed exactly the same way.
Yep. So yeah, it could have, like I just saw someone in the comments say the natural response would have been, "I'm so sorry," because it's, first of all, she clearly had some more drinks than I did.
Yeah.
Right.
Like we weren't dealing with a rational person, and it's like almost 3:00 in the morning. I get it, right? We were the only ones outside. I mean, it's still a little obnoxious, but you just go like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." I mean, but she didn't. And that's, there was a certain mentality here that was not on the same level, but also came out of her mouth very disrespectfully. And, ain't nobody going to talk about Miss Jenkins. That's my husband and my mom. Like, there's only a couple things that make me go like, okay, like this, we're not doing this today. Not today, sweetheart. But you're not talking to me or us.
Julie, I was just thinking, everybody looks like a valet or whomever when you're at weddings or functions and things, like everyone's in a tux. I don't mean, this does not sound as pretentious as what I was at the Tony Awards. This was in 2006. It was so long ago that I was living at that apartment that you're sitting next to, Julie, at the time. And we were all sitting there watching the broadcast at the after party. And like the person I was sitting with asked this guy walking by, he's like, "Oh, could you get me a fork?" And the guy looked at him and was like, "I'm sorry?" And he's like, "I don't work here. I'm a guest."
Do you know how many times that's happened to me? Do you know how many times that's happened to me in like retail stores? There was a time I was in Macy's, maybe, I think. Where was I? So it was a store like that. I was in work clothes, like when I worked on Capitol Hill. So I was dressed to the nines. I was in a suit. I was in heels, like, and I forgot why I was in the store buying something. I don't know. I might have had an event or something to go to later and I needed something anyway. And, this woman comes up to me and like asks me, like, "Do you know where I can get this size? Like, can you help me find this, size, whatever it was?" And I looked at her and said exactly that. "I'm sorry. What makes you think I work here?" Now, there's nothing wrong with working there, but what makes you think of like people that are in here that I'm the one who I'm like, what makes you think I work here? I was so, oh my God. But it happens all the time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Luckily the person that the fork person was like immediately mortified that I was sitting with. And the person who was initially offended ended up going and getting the guy a fork and brought it back.
Was that guy a white guy or no?
Everybody was white in this
Everybody
scenario.
was white in the scenario.
Yeah. But he came and brought a fork back to him and he was like, "Here's your fork." And everyone kind of like laughed about it. And then he like kind of side-eyed him on the way. Like, like to your point, Tara, like don't ever assume anything, no matter what anybody looks like, no matter what, unless they got a name tag that's like, "Hello, my name is Wanda and I work at this store." You know what I mean? Like,
yes, I just don't, I'll never, I mean, yeah. And like, last night was a rare occurrence, obviously.
Yeah.
But it was, got the juices flowing a little bit.
I know.
But we, again, it's just, there's ignorance everywhere. And it was just like, please don't start none. There won't be none tonight. I'm like, I'm 50. I don't have time for this. I didn't stretch beforehand. Yeah, no, it stayed verbal. It stayed verbal, but it was all good. But other than that, it was an absolutely fun night. And we ran into Jasmine Crockett, our favorite congresswoman. She had a party last night too, but it was at the same time as my friend Nakima's. So the kind of all my Georgia friends who are in town, we all went to Nakima Williams' party. Congresswoman Williams and I are very good friends. We went on a international trip together to Israel, and we're part of a very close, tight-knit group that had that experience before she was a congresswoman. So it's very cool, like our group that got to go. And so a bunch of them are in town now. And so George, and funny, Marcus went to high school with her. It's such a small, yeah. So he's known Nakima way longer than I have. And but so he was like, "Wait, Nakima?" He's like, I'm like, "That's my girl." He's like, "I've known her since high school." It's like, "Get out of here."
Wow.
So Jasmine came out after her party was over to Nakima. So everybody was all there at one time. And but I got to tell you, Jasmine had security with her. Even at an event like this where
I
it's
believe
like,
it.
Friendlies.
Oh, I
and
believe
she
it.
said to me, I was like, I thought you weren't going to come out. She was like, well, she's like, I wanted to come out and support Nikema. She's like, but it's crazy in these streets. And I was like, that's the first time I've seen her. I see her pretty
Remember
often.
at the Webbies, when we saw her at the Webbies, she came down and sat with us for like 2 seconds and then went on stage and then had to go because there were so many threats against her at the time.
She had to stay in like she was in a different area of the Webbies. She couldn't sit at her table. That was the day that she did, it was Colbert, I believe. She was on Colbert first. She taped Colbert, taped straight over to the Webbies, and she could not sit. The threats were so high that they told her it's not a good idea to sit in the crowd with everyone else, sit in an ante room. And I went up to see her, and she was there pretty much by herself. It was her and a staffer. She didn't have security with her that day. They had the security, like building security, but this was back in May. It's gotten way worse. And then Trump insulted her again the other day.
That's what I was going to ask.
So the threat matrix goes through the roof.
That's what I was going to ask, because I know, they don't get details. They don't have security paid for.
It's out of her pocket. It's out of her congressional account, I'm sure. And it's ridiculous. And you think about what you're raising money. Sorry, there's helicopters flying. You guys, for anybody who joined late, I'm at a squash tournament for my son, and it's a madhouse inside the facility. So I went outside. And I'm literally sitting in Hanover Square, which is right off of Wall Street, downtown Manhattan. There are tour groups coming through. There are cars and cabs and workmen working. So
that's not so bad, actually. It's louder here in my stupid flight pattern to Dulles.
Yeah, I know you're right by that helipad too.
I'm right by a helipad. So helicopters and everything. You see the East River sun coming off my face.
That's nice, though.
Yeah. It's nice. I never get to come down here, so it's nice.
Sorry, just really quick in the comments, people were like, "Don't pick on Wanda," and I was talking about the.
Oh my god!
The reason I said Wanda, it's so dumb. The movie Elf. You remember, like when he works in the department store, and like that big guy comes over and he's got it. He has a name tag on that says Wanda, and it says Wanda because Wanda Sykes was supposed to play that role, and then she ended up not doing it. But he thought it would be funny to wear the name tag anyways, and so I always think about Wanda and the name tag. But yeah, a lot of people.
Hilarious movie, classic.
Oh my god, I could see it a million times. People in the comments are saying that they agree with you, Tara, that it's like it doesn't matter what anybody's doing, what anybody's wearing. Let's just all be nice to each other. It's not that hard.
It wasn't necessary. That situation didn't have to go left like that. Like, you know what I mean? A simple if I had made that mistake, I would have been horrified. I'd be oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I've had a few. It's 3:00 in the morning. You were the only one here. I didn't know. I'm so sorry. Like, even then, I don't think I would have made that mistake, given like it was me, my husband, Marcus, and another one of Marcus's friends, another political operative, and like none of us look like we fucking worked there. Okay, so it was but there were ways to de-escalate, and she chose not to, and I wasn't having it. So
Eileen, Jon Favreau, Pod Save America did not direct Elf. There are two Jon Favreaux.
Right, different, very, very different.
Oh God, no.
I don't know why. And happy balloons happening.
Congratulations!
There's Jon Favreau, who was in Swingers and is a big director now. And
I love that you said Swingers, Julie. That's a deep cut, and I appreciate
because
that.
he was in it.
Great
I
know.
In a movie
Swingers was one of my favorite movies in high school.
Yeah.
We used to say, "You're so money. You're so money," and like we used to say,
money.
So money. You don't even know it. You're so money.
Whereas Jon Favreau from Pod is a different Jon Favreau.
Yeah, different guy.
He's a little bit more of like a whiny little.
Yeah.
Director, actor Jon Favreau is way better.
Yeah.
He also did a lot of the Mandalorian.
He did.
He's like involved in the Star Wars universe there, which was really impressive. He's also done some of the Marvel movies.
Yeah, Sharon Chef was one of my favorite
Iron
movies.
Man, I think one of them, or like or executive produce. He's also in it. Like he's done a lot. He's actually I was surprised. Like it's cool to see that. Now Vince Vaughn has lost his damn mind, but
he can.
That's awful.
Horrible, and he has not aged well. Unlike all of us.
No,
Vince Vaughn has not aged well.
No, he has not.
Wedding Crashers is one of my favorite movies because it's hilarious, as Michelle. And they're doing like, have you seen the commercial where him and Owen Wilson are doing like a kind of like a Wedding Crashers, like kind of spoof with them. They're like watching football and they're in the living room, and Vince Vaughn's like, have you ever had, it was like pancakes and a dip or something like that? And Owen's like, no, I haven't. He goes, oh, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. Just wait. I already know you. Like, you know, the way their characters are in Wedding Crashers, like they're best buddies, and he's like the quirky one. It's like that. It's a play off of that, because I think it's like the 20-year anniversary of Wedding Crashers.
Has it really been 20 years?
I think so. It was like 2005, 2004.
God.
20 years?
Yeah, I know.
Good God.
I remember going to see that in the movie theater, and it came out around the same time as 40-Year-Old Virgin. Because I remember there was a lot of like conversation about which was better and like which has like had longer
Wedding
lasting.
Crashers by far.
See, I think 40-Year-Old Virgin has like as a better heart. Like,
it's tough. They're very different movies.
They are very, very different.
They're very different movies. There's so many quotable things from 40-Year-Old Virgin, and like just even with Seth Rogen and all those guys that are in it, that like, and Steve Carell is like, it's before
it's so good. Kelly Clarkson.
Oh my God.
I think.
But Wedding Crashers is hilarious too. I don't know. It's hard. The
best part of Wedding Crashers is that it has a riff off of Annie Hall, because Christopher Walken is in both and has a son in Wedding Crashers who basically plays his character in Annie Hall. Christopher Walken was the brother of Annie Hall. Yeah.
I've never actually seen Annie Hall.
Ooh,
I have to say.
Listen, Woody Allen is very problematic, but it's such a good movie.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
I'm not a huge fan of Annie Hall, even before Woody Allen became problematic. It's just not my cup of tea, but there is a correlation, which is pretty funny. I see people in chat are asking about New Jersey, what's going on with
I was gonna see if we could talk about that.
Yeah,
I know
we can talk about that.
Don't have a
ton.
ton
I can talk about the conversation I had at dinner last night, but I can talk about some things, and I know you've learned a couple things this week, Julie, and a couple things that we let's just say they align with what's going on in New Jersey.
Okay, well, Mikey Sherrill is running for governor of New Jersey. She's running against Jack Ciattarelli, a Republican, and Mikey Sherrill has made the fact that she was a naval pilot a big part of her campaign and a big part of her biography. And literally, if you know anything about Mikey Sherrill,
yeah, it's a huge accomplishment. It's not easy.
That she went to Annapolis and she was a naval pilot. Well, the Ciattarelli campaign, through some other guy, filed a FOIA request, a Freedom of Information Act request, to have her records from the Naval Academy given to them. And the National Archives gave them all the records, including all the unredacted records.
Didn't have like her social security number?
Yes, security number, her parents' address, like everything. And they apologized subsequently. I find it
apologized.
I find it interesting that Mikey Sherrill actually has John Burke on working for her, who is a her attorney, who's making a big deal out of this, as he should. But John Burkon is himself notorious for leaking redacted, to make women look like shit records. So I don't have much sympathy.
Lawyers who work for organizations that make women look like shit. I've never heard of this before.
I know. This is such a shocker, Julie.
Yes.
Whatever do you mean?
So I don't know why Mikey Sherrill would ever hire somebody like John Burkon, especially on this issue, but she has. So I don't have much sympathy because she has. But nevertheless, it is completely unacceptable for somebody to leak her information in that way. It's not right.
I'm just going to say this about that. No, it's terrible. And it's especially in this threat environment.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean?
Like security number, like we're talking about Doge, right? And like how Doge has access to all of our social security information. And like, what is our social security number tied to? Our medical records, our bank records, our taxes, literally everything that we do is. And so once that number is out there, like, what do you do?
And her parents' home address? What do you need that for? It's not her harass her parents like they do Mike Fanone? Are they going to throw shit at her parents? Or I don't know if they're still alive or what. Like, what?
I don't know if they still live there, but I mean, this was 30 years ago. But
right. That's true.
But
it could.
They could potentially. I don't know the answer to that. It's unacceptable. It's just unfeasible.
But it's typical dirty tactics. Like what are they? What are these people like? Look, I'm just gonna say this as a word of caution.
Mm-hmm.
They cannot rest on the fact that Donald Trump is unpopular, that the state of New Jersey is going to vote for her because Donald Trump and Jack Ciattarelli are buddies now, even though Ciattarelli distanced himself a little from Trump in the beginning, and now he's embracing MAGA because
he has to get the
right. He has to, but they cannot count on the fact that there are all these Democrats that are registered more than Republicans on paper, and that they're all going to hate Donald Trump enough to vote in New Jersey governor's race as a result. She cannot.
People will stay home like they did last year.
That is correct. And they think that they are, like, I guess they had some polling that said that she's up, like, I don't know, 8 or 10. And I said, there's no fucking way in the world that's the case. She needs to be running like she's behind.
Yeah.
Okay? Because this race is going to close. As you know how it is at Julie, especially in Jersey. Ciattarelli almost beat Murphy last time. And people know him in Jersey, statewide. They don't know Mikey Sherrill statewide. And I don't think that they are approaching this campaign with a sense of urgency and the sense of like fight that they need to on New Jersey specific issues the way they need to. They're going to wake up with a real shocker on the next day, the day after election day. If they
when they outlaw abortion in the state of New Jersey, like, oh my God,
they're not going to do that because the legislature is still going to.
I know, but like, it's still.
But I will tell you this. The challenge for Mikey Sherrill is twofold. One is that Jack Ciattarelli. I'll give you a great example. I know Jack Ciattarelli really well. You know why? He has made it a point of driving into New York to sit with me. I have seen him around at events when I go to New Jersey. I have known him a really long time. I have been involved in New Jersey politics for 30 years. You guys, I have never met Mikey Sherrill.
That's what I'm saying.
What does that tell you? It is insane that I've never met Mikey Sherrill. I've never heard from Mikey Sherrill. I've never heard from anybody in Mikey Sherrill's campaign. It's crazy train to me. I'm not suggesting that people in Alaska reach out to me, but this is a state where I've elected every single.
Well, this is what I was going to say. Like, for anybody who's joining us for the first time or doesn't know Julie's past, she has worked in New Jersey politics at a granular level for the last 30 years. She knows everybody. Everybody knows her.
Except for Mikey Sherrill. I've never met
for Mikey Sherrill.
Mikey Sherrill, which is crazy to me. So, okay.
Look, just so that we're like, everyone who lives in New Jersey that's watching this right now, please vote for her. I mean, she'll be fine as governor. Like, she's like, you know, there is not, like, voting for Jack Ciattarelli is not an option here. You're going to have a MAGA guy that's going to sell New Jersey out to Trump's crazy shit. So, like, don't do that. However, we really want to inject a sense of urgency and a sense of more like, you guys cannot take this for granted. Please, you will end up losing. Like, there's some things that some outreach they need to be doing in certain communities, as Julie has mentioned, like in Essex County and Camden County. And, you know, they can't rely on mail-in votes coming from Passaic County at the end to help them win. That is a quote, Julie.
So I will tell you this, a couple of things. One is she cannot win if she doesn't turn out the black and brown vote in New Jersey. I am deeply, deeply, deeply worried. That she is going to not be able to do that. The black and brown voters will stay home. Second, she had a very contentious it wasn't contentious, but she had a primary with Roz Baraka, the mayor of Newark, who, what I'm very worried about is that she, I'm very worried, very, very, very worried that she is not going to get that segment of the community. That's one. Two, I don't know who's running her race, but she is that
which
person.
Says something also.
Yeah, I actually don't know who's running her race. But she's just, they're not, I don't know. I have a column in the Star Ledger, which is the state's largest newspaper. I've had it for 8 years or 9 years.
It's like the Washington Post of New Jersey for people.
I have asked them. I've reached out to people I know who work in the Sherrill campaign to say, hey, if there's anything in this column that you want me to lift up, any issues that you guys want raised, let me know. Free publicity, nothing. Zero.
Listen, at dinner yesterday, we were talking about this, and I actually went and watched on YouTube the New Jersey gubernatorial debate.
Yeah.
It was on Sunday night at the same time as the Giants game, so I was not watching it live on Sunday night. I watched it the next morning, and I've got to tell you, I was like, Chitterelli did way better.
He's very good.
And his ads are way better.
And he talks like a normal
person. Yes.
And you know what he did?
Even though he's not.
He had message discipline, where he kept going after her for being too canned, too platitude-y, and that she doesn't have specifics. And so every single time she was asked a question, like she had a couple things, like she landed one or two punches on him about property taxes, because he did vote for a bill apparently that raised property taxes in New Jersey. So that was like a good oppo on him. But that's about where it ended. That and his ties to MAGA. That's about where it ended. He had very specific policies for people in New Jersey for the affordability problem, which there's a huge one with taxes and utility bills, and New Jersey's a very expensive state. So she didn't really have that same level of detail. And you don't have to get into like points and picas and all of that, like that kind of detail, just like a basic policy outline, which he had. It doesn't matter whether it's feasible or not. People don't care, but they hear that I want to freeze property taxes for senior citizens. You shouldn't have to struggle to pay your prescription drugs and your property taxes. We can do that here in New Jersey. Like, it doesn't matter whether that's feasible or not, but people remember that. Oh, he's the guy that wants to.
Well, listen, it's like in New York City with Mom Donnie telling everyone he's going to freeze the rent. Now, could he? Possibly. But most people don't understand that freezing the rent doesn't mean everybody. Right. It only means, subsidized or not, like rent controlled apartments. That's all that is. It's not the rest of us in the fair market. So, but again, that gets everybody's attention, because they're like, my rent's insane, which it is. But like whether it happens or not doesn't matter. It's the intent.
Yeah, it was tough to watch.
I think the problem is that if I were structuring the perfect candidate, I think people thought she was the perfect candidate because she has this great bio, fighter pilot, naval.
I know, but it doesn't translate. Yeah.
But hold on, I'm just telling my son where I am. But she's, I think it's what they thought, right? I think the perfect candidate is somebody who is authentic and pissed off.
Yep.
And she's not pissed off.
Like the guy who's running against Susan Collins and
yes,
yeah,
that farmer guy.
Like the whole
fisherman.
The whole point is what she should do, because Phil Murphy, the incumbent governor, is a Democrat, is equally as unpopular as Trump, so they kind of cancel each other out, which is why Chitterelli's been painting her as a Murphy Democrat, and she's been painting him as a Trump Republican, and it'll wash each other out.
Mm-hmm.
Where it is incumbent on her to literally do the Incredible Hulk thing and say, I am so sorry, Dad, fucking pissed off about how expensive it is to live in the state. I can't take it anymore. You shouldn't have to take it anymore either. And God damn it, I'm going to make sure that I fix it.
That's
and
right.
Genuinely mean it.
And that's kind of the way Chitterelli is approaching his campaign. Yeah. Very like, I'm fighting for you. The Democrats have been in charge for the last however long, which is not a good look, right? How many, what? It's, I don't think, how long has it been, Julie? You might know.
The Democrats have been in charge 8 years.
Right. So when's the last time that there were 3 Democrats in a row voted into the governor's office in New Jersey?
Never.
Right.
Not in a lifetime.
So that's bucking that trend. That would be a historic feat for her if she pulls this off. So like, again, that's another reason for them. People get tired of it. They can just blame who's in charge for why everything's so expensive, whether it's their fault or not.
Right. And the raising costs of living is nationwide, but especially if you live in places like New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, right? But more importantly, the Republicans in Congress are about to shut down the government. They took 6 weeks off. They left early. If everybody remembers, they left early and took 6 weeks off.
No, they didn't, Michelle. You're a liar. They didn't leave early.
Right.
inside joke. Scott Jennings accused
right.
a liar when
I'm
she
a
pointed
liar.
out that they left for early in July.
Wait a second.
For August recess.
Whoa. Scott Jennings called who a liar?
You.
Oh, back then.
Yes.
Yeah. Not me. I don't know him.
Not Michelle. I'm saying.
I thought all of a sudden Michelle tweeted something out, and Scott Jennings came at her, and I was about
no. I'm saying when he called you a liar.
But yes, I ran into him at West Side Market. No, just kidding.
But you know what, Michelle? I wouldn't be surprised.
Truly, I mean, listen, if I did see him at West Side Market, I would have words. I am like that kind of New Yorker that I will yell at you at Zabar's. If you are my representative and you're not doing anything, I will yell at you in the line at Zabar's. But so they went away for 6 weeks. They came back and worked for what, 2 weeks, and now they're going away again for now several weeks. Yeah. And while they're doing that, Pete Hegseth is recalling hundreds, right? A couple hundred high-ranking.
Probably over 1,000, according to.
Oh, it's 1,000. Jesus.
Yes.
High-ranking military officers around the world recalling to them to Quantico. Why? We don't really know. There's speculation, and there have been reports that this is going to be a PR stunt, that it's going to be a 30-minute meeting with the Pentagon public relations team and some cameras. But somebody, I forget who, had tweeted
push
something.
The warrior ethos, right? Wasn't that the story in CNN?
You guys,
something
we're gonna be so fucked. Sorry, Dad. If there is some thing that breaks out internationally while they're all sitting there at Quantico,
and trust me, it will.
It
Putin
will.
and Xi and like anybody who's our adversary is going to make sure that something goes wrong.
It would be a good time to invade Taiwan if I'm China.
You guys,
right? And not to mention,
but we do the show sitting in different locations every weekend. There's no reason why they can't zoom in, not zoom out.
This is all about posturing and having everybody salute Pete Hegseth because he's, what was it? JoJo says small in the pants parade because, it's not to mention it opens all these officers up to espionage. There's going to be spies following them and on top of the security issue. But then, I saw somebody tweet, and I don't remember who it was. You can go look at it. Somebody was tweeting the story about how Hitler did the same thing with his military and like made them say, okay, no more of the Weimar Republic Constitution. It's all about the Führer now, and take an oath. And most everybody said, okay, fine, that's great. And they were writing about that. And this person did not tag Pete Hegseth. This person did not say Pete Hegseth, but Pete Hegseth quote tweeted that and said, cool story.
What they forgot the other part of that story. His generals tried to kill him.
Some,
right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But it's like you forgot that part. It's not like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The other thing too about this is, my friends in the military, we all have friends that are like in different either active duty or contractors.
Retired, yeah.
And the consensus is that Pete Hegseth is reviled, that these generals and these like flag officers, they are like, Jesus, what are we doing here? Of course, there's always going to be some that are aligned, they're going to be there. But overall,
no.
I would not be surprised after you see this that you start to see mass retirements.
Oh, right. Remember we had a conversation in one of our chats.
Yes.
I don't want to out the person who said this, but that their spouse in the military who graduated from a military academy, however many years ago, 15, 20 years ago, probably, or more. And most everybody in that person's graduating class is retiring in the next year. I think they said that there's only one person returning to the military next year.
And they're all officers.
Right. And my sister-in-law, who's retired lieutenant colonel, judge advocate in the Marine Corps, I've been texting with her a lot. And she's like, listen, I'm not going to speculate, but I'm having a lot of conversations with people who are who can't say anything, people who have recently retired. And everybody is like, holy shit.
Yeah. And the other thing too about this, it's just added to the brain drain and the institutional knowledge that we're losing across the government, from CDC to the Department of Justice to the FBI to the intelligence community to now the military. Like, this is just really not great. And it's like, what do you do if you're in that position? Because it's like, you don't want to, you've served your country, you don't want to serve under this, and you don't want to pledge a loyalty oath to this, bullshit regime. But then you're like, who replaces me?
Well,
That's
right.
what keeps some of these good people in these positions anyway. Like, I don't judge people who decide to stay in or like decide who are career people that still serve. That's like what happened with the Eastern District of Virginia U.S. Attorney. Republican, like a normal Republican, even had the backing of both Democratic senators here in Virginia. And he said, I'm not going to indict James Comey. No. And Donald Trump fired him. Or he claims. Actually, the guy resigned. Okay. Because he said, I'm not going to do it. He took a stand and he said, I'm out. He tried to work within the system to keep the stuff on the tracks, but it became too much. So he resigned. Donald Trump claimed he fired him. No, he didn't. The guy resigned in protest. And then he installs this Alina Habba blonde version 2.0. Who
Hannigan,
whatever her name is, some
Miss Hannigan
chick that's never been in a courtroom, okay, some real estate attorney, whatever, who by the way, hundreds of line attorneys in the Eastern District of Virginia, nobody went to court with her, nobody supported her. She went by herself because they in protest. They were like, career people, we're not going to do this. We're not going to stand with this. So there's good news in that there are people who are willing to take a stand. How many of those people in the military are going to do that? How many of those generals and flag officers? Because no, I'm not going to do this. Like, that would be pretty remarkable. But I'm not.
It would be, but they're jeopardizing now. This would be a personal sacrifice for all of them. They're jeopardizing their.
Right back, it's drizzling.
Their retirement, their pension, all of their benefits. I mean, who's to say? I mean, there's. I don't know exactly what the end goal here is with the veterans' disability benefits, but I think that like all of that's going to go away, and it's all very, very, very scary. All of this. Listen, I woke up this morning and I was reading through the news, just like between that and Stephen Miller, cosplaying as Goebbels at the memorial last weekend and everything else, and it seems to be a never-ending waterfall of shit sandwich. And I was watching the Bulwark last night. I was watching Tim Miller talk to Adam Kinzinger, and at the beginning of the show, he was like, I've been reading the comments, and he's like, Tim's been giving a little bit too much spinach to our audience, and he's like, I've been too real. I'm giving all the bad news. I'm giving all of it. And he's like, so in the comments, he said that he'd been getting a lot of feedback that like, oh my God, this is so depressing. I have no hope left. And Adam Kinzinger actually was like, listen, none of this shit scares me. And it shouldn't scare you either. He goes, scared, like, yes, but not like fearful. I'm not fearful. He's like, because at the end of the day, these people are losers. They're not terribly, smart. You look at somebody like Pete Hegseth. And he says, and they're so small and they're so fragile that like when you make fun of them and you minimize them, that's what gets them. And he actually brought up the smell thing again. He was like, the fact that Donald Trump is a smelly person and people talk about it like really, really bothers him. And so like you have to keep saying these things. So I was reminded last night, and I know we all have to go because we have things to do and people to see. I was reminded last night of the scene from Casablanca. And
best scene in the world, the Marseillaise scene.
Yes.
Oh my God, it brought me to tears.
Best scene in all of movie history.
Yes. And, if you're somebody who hasn't seen Casablanca, it's obviously was a bit of a propaganda movie in the early 40s that was anti-isolationist. And it's like really a turning point in the story of the isolationist character who doesn't stick his neck out for nobody. And, you reminded me, Julie, I think we talked about this last week, that in the scene, director Michael Curtiz filled the scene with actual refugees who had genuinely fled the Nazi war machine and were now singing their anthem, the French national anthem, with all the pride, defiance, and bravery within them. Among them, most visible actors is teary-eyed Madeleine LeBeau, portraying the role of Yvonne, who ends the song with a fierce "Vive la France," herself a refugee who had fled across the Atlantic via Lisbon and was later called the face of the French resistance by the then French culture minister. And I screen recorded the scene, and I think that like we all could use a pick-me-up. And I would love to just watch this because it reminds me that there are so many of us that are fighting back against this, and we are all so depressed. and we have every right to be, but we also have so many reasons to fight, to be hopeful. Especially with Jimmy Kimmel, what has happened, Nexstar, and Sinclair have both been like, okay.
No, they caved.
I know, that's what I'm saying. They
caved because capitalism is driven by us. And the advertisers were like, yeah, we're not going to advertise on your channels if you're going to keep running Celebrity Family Feud. And all of the, you know what I mean? Like, it came down to that, where the collective anger, the American people standing up, doing the right thing at a time where they said not no, but hell no. And you had a lot of Republicans that were also critical. When you've got when we're on the same side as fucking Ted Cruz
and Tucker Carlson,
I mean, this took it too far with the free speech thing.
Yes,
stood up and we want
capitalism will save us. I just want people to know
it will. It will, and that's why this holiday season, I also, not to go on a tangent here, but I hope that people shop small, shop local, don't go crazy. We all need to close our wallets and put money where our values are and where our spine is, and don't give it to people who are taking our freedoms away every single day. And I just think that's really important, and I plan on doing that myself. But I'm going to play that scene right now because I just think it's so amazing, and I watched it this morning and cried my eyes out. Okay. Oops.
Plate.
Okay, I'm sitting here crying in the middle of New York City.
I know.
I'd never seen Casablanca in its entirety until we went to Morocco in April for my husband's birthday. And of course, it was on the flight because I'm like, I have to watch Casablanca.
Yeah, I was like, Tara, I can't believe you.
I was like, I know. I'm a bad American. That and It's a Wonderful Life. Two movies I had never seen. Still haven't seen It's a Wonderful Life in its entirety.
We're going to change
I have seen Casablanca. And so I watched it on the flight. And I was bawling at that part because this was in April. So this was right in the middle of Doge and all what was happening. And just there was so much going on where I was just them singing, beating back the Nazis, singing, and people, I was like, this is where we should be doing this every week. American people should be in the streets every week. And it was
our voices are louder. Our voices are louder. Our collective voices are louder. And it's, and just some background on the film too, all of this was filmed out of sequence. Right. And the director, that nod. First of all, when Rick makes the nod to the band to say it's okay. First of all, that was filmed separately and they decided to just throw that in and because it changed the plot and the trajectory of the rest of the story for that character. And he's America in that scene.
Yes, because we hadn't entered the war yet at that point when that came out.
I think it was
42. It came out as
42. I thought it was 41. Okay.
No, it was 42. But I'll say this. I will say this, and then I got to go. If you notice in that scene, the Germans were singing, I think it's something about the Rhine. Song. But and everybody's just sitting there kind of taking it, right? Despite the fact that this is Rick's Cafe is full of refugees who are literally fleeing the Germans to get out. everybody there is looking to get out, from Ingrid Bergman's character to Victor Laszlo, except for Rick. Everybody's looking to go.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And
it's the American who had.
Yeah, they sit there and take it until one person, just one, who just enters the scene a day prior, and literally is not known to any of them, says, "You know what? Screw it. We're not going to take it." And what I'm saying here, the parallels I want to make here is that we as an American public have been sitting here and taking it since January, and taking it, and taking it, and taking it. And I tell you that I think the Jimmy Kimmel thing is a turning point. Not that Jimmy Kimmel is a big hero here.
It's what it represented.
Finally, Bob Iger, who was the first to bend the knee back in November by giving that bullshit $60 million settlement to Donald Trump, finally, belatedly, I don't want to analogize him much to Humphrey Bogart, but much belatedly said, "I'm not going to take this shit anymore." And Sinclair, you don't want to run Jimmy Kimmel? Nexstar, you don't want to run Jimmy Kimmel? God bless.
Yep.
And then they caved, much like the Germans there caved. And by the way, Conrad Voigt, who was the actor who played the main Nazi there, the main German, was himself a German refugee against Nazism and was in London helping with whatever German resistance there was from London. So
listen, this is that scene, and that scene was an inspiration point for my TED Talk, which is out right now. It's live on the TEDx site. It's called Stand Up or Stand By. Is moral courage the revolution society needs? And there is a line in my TED Talk where I say revolutions are, contrary to what people think, revolutions aren't necessarily started by hundreds of people. It can start with one or a small group of people who decide to stand up and say, "Stop athwart history." And that came from that scene. And so for me, and a couple of others, but like that was in my mind when I was writing that speech. And it's like, it's true. It only takes one, because courage is contagious, and it can spread like a wildfire. And look how many of us are doing this. And that's why we do what we do here. So
and now Trump is ordering Microsoft to fire Lisa Monaco, who's the number 2 under Merrick Garland. And you know what? I hope whoever the head of Microsoft is right now, I don't know who it is, I hope they tell him to go pound. He wants to take away their government contracts. Bye-bye. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
I hope so. I mean, I hope so. I hope so. Too. Larry Ellison came from Oracle, and Oracle is all like up in it with Palantir and Teal and all of that. I hope Gates and Microsoft, I mean, he's not necessarily running it anymore, but I hope like Microsoft takes a stand, because we have to. We have to.
All right, everybody. I got to go.
Me too. Should I have the Tylenol thing? Should we play it out? I'll play everybody out in the Tylenol thing. We haven't released it. I'm gonna push it to live. It's from the Seneca Project. I made this. I felt that it was an important argument to make about this Tylenol thing. It's not about Tylenol. It's not about autism.
A set of acetaminophen. Is that it?
This is about a war on women and war on women's body. It's much bigger than that. So we'll play you guys out with that. Everyone, please have a safe and happy weekend. Get outside, touch some grass, and we'll see everybody on Wednesday right here. Bye.
Now, President Trump just announced the administration believes Tylenol use during pregnancy might contribute to autism. Let's listen.
Effective immediately. The use of let's see how we say that. Is that okay?
There is no way that any reasonable person thinks that this is really about autism or science or protecting pregnancy and protecting children.
And separately, this is based on what I feel.
Scientific press conferences are not supposed to be about how you feel.
Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen. I'm just making these statements from me. I'm not making them from these doctors.
This is about making sure women suffer, making sure women are in pain.
You'll be uncomfortable. It won't be as easy, maybe.
Other women need pain medications to get through pregnancy.
If you're pregnant, don't take Tylenol.
Acetaminophen is one of the only pain relievers that pregnant women can use.
I just recommend strongly that you don't use Tylenol.
This is about making sure that pregnant women do not get 1 ounce of relief.
This is not a small issue.
Ideally, a woman won't take Tylenol.
This is Christian fundamentalism.
And say that we would throw in some biblical references that would explain why
Eve sinned. and therefore women must suffer. And if you are pregnant and not suffering, you are offending God.
They're pumping, it looks like they're pumping into a horse.
They do not give a shit about women's health care.
See here, take a cup of title. I've heard that for years.
The other thing that cannot get lost in this, that this is about criminalization. Arrested for abortion, arrested for miscarriage.
If you're pregnant, don't take Tylenol.
If they can arrest you for taking a legal prescription that your doctor gave you, which has been done.
When you have your baby, don't give your baby Tylenol at all.
How long do you think it's going to be before they arrest someone for using Tylenol while pregnant after this?
Don't take Tylenol if you're pregnant.
They will absolutely be coming for epidurals next. C-sections.
The Trump administration told the New York Times that birth control pills, hormonal implants, and IUDs are actually abortions, not birth control.
Do you support any restrictions on a person's right to contraception?
We're looking at that, and I'm going to have a policy on that very shortly.
Sit with that for a second. How long do you think it's going to be before they arrest someone for not taking prenatal vitamins correctly?
Do you believe in punishment for abortion? Yes or no, as a principle?
The answer is that there has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman?
Yeah, there has to be some form.
It will be the mother that's to blame.
Don't take Tylenol. There may be a point where you have to, and you have to work out with yourself.
Moms are already under a lot of stress, and now we're adding yet another barrier for them to want to access care, which is guilt.
We are going down that road. We're at the end of that road. We are there.
Because that's what happens when your country operates under Christian nationalism.
I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not. I'm going to protect them.